definitely a good finish by Saka. It was a really nice move. Like, it was a really good passing move. We moved it forward, came back, moved it forward again, came back, and then there was a lot. For the first time, Saka kind of drifted over from the right to the left.
Yeah.
And then we managed to interchange a lot between, I think it was him, Tavares was involved, Emil Smith-Rowe was involved, and then back to Tavares, who then slipped it through to Saka, I think. And it was just a really nice combination play. And it just showed, after the second half started, at around about minute 50, we upped the tempo for a good 15, 20 minutes. And that is what we were missing in that first half. And it just shows what we can do and what we're capable of when we play quicker, when we play and move off the ball, and when the technical qualities of the squad comes with a tempo. And every time we've played with a tempo, that's where we've been at our best. Against Leicester, there was a tempo in that first half, went 2-0 up. There was a tempo against Tottenham, went 3-0 up in that first half. So we see it time and time again. It's just a little bit disappointing that it's only happening in spurts, and it's not happening over the course of 70, 80 minutes, or even the course of 60 to 70 minutes. But the first goal was a sign of, all right, if we play football the way that we want to play football, this could be something really, really good, because the football was great. It was patient. But when we reached the final third, we upped the acceleration of it, and we finally broke through a Newcastle defence, which sat quite deep for the majority of the game before that and didn't really look too troubled. But the minute we got movement around them, and the minute we sort of started playing nice little 1-2s and had some runners off the ball, it became easy for us, which was a really, really good thing. And like you said, the finish was fantastic. I thought at first it was a little bit of poor positioning from the goalkeeper. I know you never want to get beaten at your near post, but I thought he was maybe a step too far across. But that takes nothing away from Saka, who pretty much started and finished the move.
Yeah, he pretty much did, and the finish was good. I think it was sort of like curling away from the goal, but it didn't curl so far away that it didn't go into the net, and I think that's what makes the technique a bit better. And I think a lot of people especially on Twitter have gone up about Saka. I think he scored one goal since January, and and like he's done pretty much like not a lot in terms, but he offers so much. Like, and I think this was you could say potentially his best performance this season, maybe the Spurs game, and I think he was really good against Watford as well. But he's starting to get that bit more consistency now, which we needed from him. And with the African Cup of Nations coming up, and that's something that's going to be important for him. Like, I mean, he's one of our top players, and I know he obviously needs to be contributing goals and assists going forward. So it needs to be a bit more consistent. But this was a good start, and he looked threatening all game, really.
I think it might be a common theme with all of the England boys, to be fair, because obviously Saka is now starting to pick up a little bit. Mason Mount as well, he's starting to pick up a little bit. You saw Sancho scored for Man United during midweek. Maybe he's now starting to pick up a little bit. Only really the likes of Foden started the season quite well, but now he's got an injury, so maybe that contributed with the fact that, and Jack Grealish as well, both of them two started the season sort of as number one choices at Manchester City, and maybe the accumulation of games has already kind of caught up with them. It remains to be seen for the rest of the season, but it seems to have been like a little bit of a trend. Harry Kane is another one. He hasn't done much for Spurs in the Premier League at all. In the Europa League, he's now putting in a couple of performances, did well during the international break as well. So maybe it just took a little bit of time and patience with Saka for us because of the England duties, because of the way that the Euros ended. And obviously we don't know the effect that had on all of them. Now that the season is in full flow, hopefully Saka doesn't have that little bit of a dip again.
And I think it's very good to remember that Bukayo Saka is only 20, so like there is so much for him to grow, And I think people say, oh, well, he's not like, he doesn't score enough and such, but that could improve. It's not like he's 25. This isn't like, he can improve. And I think Arsenal fans sometimes forget that when he isn't scoring goals. And I think that's mainly because Arsenal don't score enough goals. And that's not his fault. That's also a fundamental issue of the setup as well. But I mean, that's for another day. I don't really want to be talking about how bad like our creativity
No, it's
is.
a positive day today. It's a positive
Yeah,
day.
it is a positive day. And we'll talking about a positive day. So obviously Martinelli came on and he had a really positive impact. And we spoke about it earlier, but obviously Saka went off injured. Hopefully that's not too serious. Arteta was a bit coy, but he's always coy about injuries in press conferences. But the goal, I thought this was such a like sensational goal from Martinelli because the technique on it is fantastic. It's just, I and people will say, oh, well, the keeper made it easy for him. Yeah, I sort of agree. The keeper did make it easy for Martinelli, but take nothing away from the finish. It's such a it's a harder technique than he makes it look. He makes it look so easy, and it's such a good goal.
I think I 100% agree with you. And while I can understand, I guess, like the idea that the goalkeeper made it easy for him, I disagree in terms of the goal itself. The goalkeeper made his mind up for him that Martinelli's going to go for it, or at least try to go for it first time. But the technique to execute it was 100% perfection. Yeah. If you get it wrong, it's going wide, it's going over, or it's going straight into the goalkeeper's hands. There are a number of places that could have gone, but he got it absolutely perfect. I think a lot of credit has to go to Tomiyasu, who I thought had a really good game. But the ball over the top to Martinelli was incredible. The weight on it was brilliant. And that's the sort of thing that we've been looking for from Tomiyasu. We can see defensively, he's really strong. He doesn't really tend to get beaten 1v1 very often. And I think he got an assist yesterday, and he was probably one of his better games offensively. But I think the biggest credit for Tomiyasu to take away from that Newcastle game is that St. Maximin was silent. Yeah. And there are not many fullbacks that St. Maximin goes against, and they have a good game against him, or he doesn't at least shine for a minute or two. There was one dribble that he had towards the end of the game, which maybe created a bit of a half chance, but nothing in particular. Outside of that, he was completely shut out of it, and a lot of credit has to go to Tomiyasu for that. But the pass to Martinelli was just technically brilliant. The weight on it was fantastic, and then the finish was, for someone who's not been in the team consistently for ages, and for someone who's not played a lot of minutes, to take it the way he done, first of all, to be that confident, because I'm sure that even our most confident, most senior strikers in Aubameyang and Lacazette wouldn't necessarily have taken that on first time, and I definitely don't think they would, either of them would have had the technique to execute it so perfectly. Yeah, he's been out of the team. Everyone's been calling for him, and I think it being in the stadium for that Martinelli goal, obviously all Arsenal fans celebrate all goals that we score, regardless of who it is. No one in the stadium is that sort of petty or childish to be like, well, I'm not celebrating for that person. And then obviously there's a level of happiness that everyone has when we score a goal. When Martinelli scored, everyone was ecstatic. Like, everyone in the stadium, and I'm sure it was the same for fans watching at home, it was a real moment that, yes, like, he needed that. We needed that. And we really wanted that for him. If it was Aubameyang that scored the goal, it would have been cool. We scored a goal, and Aubameyang's goal was great. But it's a different feeling when it's a player who hasn't really been in favour, and all of the fans are kind of in agreement. We want this player to play more. And I think now that kind of signals a real red flag for Pepe's career.
Oh, yeah.
Because not only did Martinelli come on before him against Newcastle, and in minutes that were important, so it was about the 63rd minute or something like that he came on. Yeah. He took the chance with both hands. He scored a goal. He created another chance. Probably should have had a penalty.
Oh, yeah.
And now he has to be at the front of the pecking order when it comes to resting Saka or off the bench as a substitution option.
To the centre, Shuka is there. Can't get his cross in. Maybe Dixon can.